Okay, so starting first, I'm gonna open with my Snubbull actually. I was thinking maybe starting with my Eevee and then simply play my N. It can be a little bit too risky if I don't pull nothing for my bench again, but let's just go right now with that N. Running 4 copies of Stadium cards and not getting a single one sometimes is just very painful. A Trainers Mail for Ultra Ball means I'm gonna Ultra Ball for something like Remoraid if it's in my deck, and I hope it is. So there we go, I can put my Remoraid on the bench, and next turn I can have both Flareon and Octillery in play. Good thing is that probably Spinarch will poison my Snubbull if Spinarch actually will be in play. Oh, there we go with the N. Okay. And I will have that 10 damage counters, very important 10 damage counters for attack. So, oh, okay. I know what's on the other side. Interesting deck, also to watch and play. What can I do here? I can do a couple things. The first thing I'm gonna do is gonna be Level Ball for Octillery. Since I want to take rid of some of the cards from my hand, I will evolve. And I'm gonna play my V Seeker for N. And that's gonna be it. I really want Stadium, and I want it so badly, but I simply so far cannot get it. At least what I can get is a energy. But Trainer's Mail will provide me just N. Instead N, I'm gonna grab V Seeker. I shouldn't even take none of these two cards, but okay. Ultra Ball will be for Flareon, of course, so I can knocks out with a single shot his Spinarch. Then I'm gonna use a Special Charge, and of course a Beazle Hand, so I can drop cards until I have 5 in my hand. Finally Stadium. And also Level Ball for 1 Snubbull. There we go. And I can go for a Dark Lamp. It's gonna be 60, it's gonna be more than enough for the knockout, and I'm gonna take first prize card here. Very important, and it's a Float Stone. Okay, I also like the fact that I have Float Stone right now sitting in my hand. There is another Fighting Energy and Toxicroak with a Poison Jab, which says flip a coin you hand your opponent active Pokemon is on poison. Poison ends in prevent all damage done to this Pokemon by attacks from your opponent's poison Pokemon. So that's gonna be so tough to play against, especially if I'm gonna be poisoned. So there is a V Seeker for another end. Alright. I'm gonna need that Lysandre, so I can avoid his Toxicroaks until I manage to set up my second Granbull on the bench for the one-hit knockout. So whenever I retreat, I'm gonna be poisoned, and there is Level Ball for Ariados, of course. And right now I'm also gonna be poisoned. I have teammates, but I cannot use the advantage of the teammates. What I can do is simply strike my opponent Ariados on the bench for like a 60 and prevent him from being able to switch or retreat. So, alright. Time to put my Eevee in play. Time to play my Lysandre. A Beazle Hand, also important to get a couple cards here, to prepare my second Granbull on the bench, and I'm striking with my Dark Lamp. I'm striking for 30, I'm taking 10 damage counters from poison, which means I'm gonna need something like a double Course Energy so I can try to max out his Toxapex at the end of my next turn. Then I'm also gonna be knocked out. Oh, there you go with another N. Okay, Granbull. And a Float Stone. He is weak to Psy. I don't have a single Psychic Pokemon. There's another Marnie on his bench. I took 10 from Poison. I have Float Stone in my hand. Of course I'm gonna try to do something with that Float Stone, no doubt about it. I will try to prevent my opponent from knocking out my Granbull, but then I'm gonna be knocked out from that Toxicroak, so it's the same. It's the same situation. Is it worth a Beazle for 1? Of course it is. I can Dark Clamp my opponent until I manage to get Lysandre, but then I simply cannot again knocks out his Toxicroak, so I simply need to go with my Fight Back for the knockout. One prize for me, it's a XP share, a little bit too late, because right now he can simply go for 70 and knocks out my Granbull, because I will take 10 damage counter from Poison. There is another Level Ball for another Krogan, alright. Very hard time for me, 2 damage counters at least for that Krogan on the bench. And 1 Ultra Ball. It's gonna be for another Ariados and something. Alright, so another Poisonous Beast on his bench. I mean, I have 2 prize advantage, but I need to pull like 5 more Lysandres, and that's not gonna be that easy and possible. Okay, at least I have Snubbull. Alright, at least right now I just need Top's Double Course Energy. Speaking about Double Course Energy, I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to get one. But I have that Beazle hand. And I'm gonna have a Beazle hand for like 3. I could have for 4, but then I'm not gonna be able to attach energy, and it's very important to get Double Course Energy. No sign of the Double Course Energy yet. But I have Sycamore for 7, and I still have hope to find a Double Course Energy, and there we go, there's a Double Course Energy. And there is also a second XP share. So this is going to be more than enough for the knockout with my Fight Back. 130, down to 3 prize cards. A little bit better position for me than for my opponent, I can tell you that. Because next turn I'm also gonna need another Double Course Energy, but I still have only maybe 2 Double Course Energies. I also discarded already my Special Charge. I mean, I didn't discard it, I played. So he can simply just use Poison here, and basically with the Poison knocks out my Granbull, even without attacking with his bench at Toxicroak. So he can take 1 prize advantage. I wish my opponent can somehow in this situation discard my Stadium, so I can also put my Stadium from hand, put my Oranguru on the bench, evolve my Granbull, and then drop a Beazle hand, maybe even get that Instruct with Oranguru. But overall there is 1 Professor Sycamore for 7. It's a very tough match, and it's a very close match to watch. So 1 Trainers Mail for a Float Stone. Okay, so Float Stone is going to be for active Toxicroak, so he can even switch down to the bench, maybe to his Toxapex, but I don't see how that would be good. Oh, there we go, there's a Force of the Giant Plant. So I'm happy to see Force of the Giant Plant in play, and there is also 1 Ultra Ball. Another Ultra Ball and Level Ball discarded, so that's a lot of resources wasted for 1 Pokemon. And it's also going to be a lot of resources. Oh no, so he discarded them in order to take nothing. And there was a Shaman EX. This is going to be Shaman for victory, I can see that. That Shaman is going to be victory here. I can see that. So that's going to be 2 extra prize card for me, and no doubt about it that it's going to be more than enough for the knockout and for the victory. So next turn I'm knocking out one of my opponent Pokemon, that's for sure. And since I have 2 XP shares, yeah, I will just need my Granbull in play. So he decided to switch down to a Croagunk. And my Granbull is knocked out. I'm gonna take one. Oh no, I'm not gonna take a energy because I'm poisoned. I didn't take a damage counters here. Oh, no way. Okay, he can have my Flareon here. He can have Flareon. Completely forget about that situation. So this is a Team Magma. This is one Granbull. This is also going to be one Oranguru. And it's going to be a Beazle hand for 2. So I'm searching for something like Trainers Mail. Trainers Mail for Teammates. Is it worth to Teammates or maybe just end my opponent? I still didn't see a Lysandre, so I'm gonna end him down to like 4 cards. Yes, let's do this. If I miss energy attachment, I'm probably gonna lose this game. There we go, no energy attachment. The question is, can he even switch down to his bench? There's a Poisonous Nest. I see just 1 energy in his discard pile, but also 2 copies of Float Stones. And there is 1 energy card, so he can switch, or either way, yeah, he decided to switch. And to go with that Poison Jab for like a 70. I will still have a turn to take that energy. Maybe even to switch on my bench. Is it worth to take that Brock's Grit right now? I think it is. Okay, whew, so important, energy attachment. And so important, Ultra Ball. I don't have Float Stone still, so I just need that Granbull. I can still instruct for like 3, for up to 3, so I can drop 2 cards. With instruct, energy and teammates. So I'm knocked out, that's for sure. Who's gonna be promoted in the front? He can go for like 70. He might be even able to knock me out. No Float Stone for me. 110, 90, 70, 80. 1 strong energy will be more than enough for the knockout for my opponent. On the other side, I can always go with a plan B. And the plan B, it's gonna be... all of my Pokemon has 2 retreat cost. I really don't want to take the risk too much, so I will just promote my Granbull because I have plan B in my hand. I really need the Lysandre, so I can... Lysandre, for example, he is shaving and just strike for 30, 30, 30, and simply preventing him from being able to switch. Looks like there was no strong energy in my opponent's hand, so that's so bad. That's so bad. Alright, so we are both equal right now with the 3 prize cards. I have my teammates sitting in my hand. I took 10. I'm down to 100. The top deck is not something I was expecting for. A Beazle for only 1 card, and it's gonna be a double course energy card as a top deck. So I can switch down to something like a Vaporeon. Down to something like Oranguru. But what I'm gonna need is that Lysandre. Prevent all damage down to this Pokemon by a point and poison. Yep, very tough. Very, very tough. For me, the best thing is simply to promote my Snubbull and let my opponent knock him out. So I can simply have Lysandre for a knockout against his Shaman on the bench, or even better, just a knockout against his Toxicroak with my Granbull, and then knockout against his Shaman with the Lysandre. For me, this is the only option I can actually do right now. And the question is, there is Lysandre, so it's going to be Lysandre probably for my Granbull on the bench. Oh no, for Oranguru. Alright. It's gonna be for Oranguru and for the knockout. I mean, it's okay. As long as my opponent does not have his last strong energy in play. So I do have access to my Lysandre. And I'm gonna strike hard with it. I'm gonna go for the knockout. No doubt about it. Really don't want to take a risk that he have the strong energy for the knockout. I simply need a Lysandre, and I can basically Lysandre for a win if there is no strong energy in my opponent. Oh, strong energy attached to his benched Pokemon. I think that was the biggest mistake he actually did right now. I really think that was the biggest mistake that he actually did. Okay, he decides to N. In this situation, N will be okay for me, simply because I'm gonna go down to 1. I have Octillery in my hand, so I can Abyssal Hand maybe for victory here. So switch down to Toxicroak, and it's gonna be 70 with a Poison Jab, which means I'm taking 10 more. Energy attachment, of course, is gonna happen. Of course, it's gonna be a Abyssal Hand for like a 3. Actually 4. I see another Granbull, I see a Float Stone. I also see that I must switch down to my bench. Oh no, I'm poisoned. I screw up. I completely forget that he had this beast on the bench. Right now I lost my game. How bad? How freaking bad decision that was. Okay, so still he can strike me for like 70 and 10 from the poison, 80. So Lysandre victory for my opponent, Lysandre victory for me. It's just a question who can take a Lysandre first. I have double course energy. I don't have double course energy left. So I can't go for the knockout. The question is, even if I have that V-Seeker, or the V-Seeker is simply, no, there's a V-Seeker for Lysandre. Well, without Hex Maniac, it was way too hard to beat this deck. And unfortunately for me, I didn't have Hex Maniac, so I didn't win. But very close. Very, very dang close.